I'm Kate Hennessy, and welcome back to Daytime. Today's theme is green. However, we are wearing pink in honor of Day of Pink, which is the international day we all rally together against bullying, discrimination, and homophobia. We have a lot of fun coming up today with some great guests. So go top up that coffee and come back and join me on Daytime. If you're looking for some great entertainment this weekend, go see the Little Shop of Horrors performing at the Bowmanville High School from Wednesday, April 9th to Saturday the 12th at 7:30 p.m. We're still celebrating National Volunteer Week, and our volunteer crew here are hard at work as always, keeping things running smoothly. We're going to be talking to some of our volunteers throughout the week, which is going to give you a great chance to meet some of the great folks that work here at Rogers. Also today, we have some people from the town of Ajax to chat about their green days. Hot Pink Apron is in the house with some great tips on how to keep your home safe using homemade cleaning products. And Windreach Farm is going to drop by to tell us about their volunteer program. But first, a wonderful tradition that has been passed on through the years is the story of the Seder plate over the Jewish Passover. Today we're speaking with Chana Borenstein from the Chabad Jewish Center of Durham Region. Welcome, Hannah.
Thank you. It's always great to be here.
And thank you for coming to share this with us, because I know that a lot of people know, of course, of the Jewish Passover, but we don't really know the specifics of the tradition. I would love you to tell us what your family does in preparation to get ready, and then what you do then.
All right. So Passover, we're essentially celebrating a holiday, a miracle that took place 3,326 years ago. And basically the Jewish people were enslaved in Egypt to the different pharaohs, and they were enslaved, backbreaking labor, and finally God told Moses, this is the time, let's go get the Jewish people out. And after 10 horrible plagues that the Egyptians were given, the Pharaoh finally said, okay, go, take your people out and leave. And so all the different things that we have and celebrate on this holiday are to remind us, A, of the slavery and that our ancestors went through, and of course, though, that the freedom that we now are in, freedom that the ancestors were in, but also our personal freedom in different ways that we can put it into our lives.
Okay, yeah. And this has been passed on to you, so you celebrated this tradition with your family,
Yeah.
and so on and so on, and now you're passing this down to your little ones.
Exactly. So it's really fun because it's a whole set of preparation that goes into the Passover holiday. On Passover, we don't have anything that's leavened, nothing from bread byproducts, anything that's had the time to rise. So we actually clean our entire home in order to get ready. And it's really fun, believe it or not. The kids love to clean. While we don't enjoy it as much, the kids have a great time with it. And it leads up and builds up while they're learning about the holiday. It makes it real and tangible. And throughout the whole Passover, and specifically at the Seder, which we'll talk about soon, how we celebrate that, they have a really big key and important role. They're not just, quiet, shush to the side. Rather, they are part of it. And most of the Seder is actually geared towards them, encouraging them to ask questions, encouraging them to participate. And that's what's so special about it, because they are the focus, as well as the adults, of course, but they are a special part and have an important role in the Seder.
In the whole thing. And so do you start, would you say, like a week before you're going to start the tradition? Do you start a week? In my house, you'd start a month before.
Exactly.
To start cleaning,
I think that depends on everybody, but when you have the amount, depending on your size, your home, it's a process. It's a process, that's for sure. But it makes the anticipation so much greater when you've prepared for it.
Okay, so we got rid of all the leaven, anything to do with that. And so now basically in your home, you've got this beautiful clean house. And what would be the next step? Would we start to prepare something
So we've got our matzahs here, which you've just pointed
Matzah.
out. So matzah is what we eat on Passover as opposed to bread or crackers or anything like that. And matzah is made very, very specific. And while you can try to make it at home, there's so many complicated details involved that it probably is best to buy it. These are special handmade matzahs, nothing to do with the machine that you may have seen, that square. These matzahs are made, there's only flour and water in it. They're mixed together super fast, and the entire process from the water and the flour touch each other is less than 18 minutes. Anything more than that would be considered not good. It's called chametz. It would be not good for Passover, because then it would have had the chance possibly to rise. So these are baked, rolled, mixed within 18 minutes. just from flour and water, and this is what we eat on Passover. So these are special, they're called shmura matzah, special handmade matzah that we.
So you prepare this yourself. You do this yourself.
I do not do this.
You do
no,
not.
I do not do this.
You're the girl in the kosher aisle.
Yeah, I go buy it from the store. But this is, there's bakeries that are just matzah bakeries that they create this in.
You're busy cleaning the house and everything else, so we understand that you can't always make your own. So this is okay. This is okay. So we're going to bring that to the table, and then we're going to come back because a very important part of this is preparing the Seder plate.
Correct.
Right, and this is a very, very important part of the tradition. So when we come back, we're going to talk more with Chana, and we're going to create an amazing Seder plate. So stay with us. Okay. We are back with Chana Borenstein from the Chabad Jewish Center. And Chana, you're showing us now, this is the Seder plate. This is the standard, what you would make throughout the Passover.
So what we have is we call a Seder really means order. And when we start off our Passover, Seder, order, the start of the Passover, it's like a big festive feast with a bunch of different steps that go up to it. And that's why we call it a Seder in order. We have 15 different steps. But one of the things that we place on our Seder table is called a Chana, which is, there is different significance behind each of these 6 things that are found, as well as at our Seder we have 4 cups of wine to remember being free. Now we can rejoice and relax, and that we have throughout the Seder. But why don't we go through this Chana, and we will actually create one of our, it's called the Charoset, that we have on our Seder table. So let's start with creating one of our dips for the Seder plate. Okay. So it's a very simple recipe, very, very simple. We're going to take some pear and apple, and we're going to take some walnuts, just chop it up a little bit, throw it into our processor. Got a little mini one here. And this is actually, it's going to become like more like a brownish mixture. And while it tastes sweet because it's got the pear and apples in it, it's really to remind us of something very, very sad. The Jewish people, when they worked in Egypt, instead of being given the mortar to make bricks with, they actually had to go instead of getting bricks, to make the pyramids with, they had to go and get the mortar, and from the mortar make the bricks. And it was really back-breaking labor. So when eating this, while it's sweet, we want to really remember the back-breaking labor that our ancestors went through. And now, thank God, we don't have that.
And so this is going to be something when the children ask you, Mom, why are we making this? You're going to tell them that story.
Exactly.
Right?
And I'm just going to make a little noise. Just grind it up a little bit. Make a little bit of a paste, and I'll add some, to make it that brownish color, I'll add some sweet wine to it.
And everyone participates in this, eating this?
Yes. Yeah. During the Seder, there's different steps, like I said, that we do, and we go to our Seder plate and we take different things off of it and use it in our Seder that we have with the family. All right. So we can make it a little bit more brown, and then we will put it on.
Nothing wrong with a little more wine.
Yeah, exactly. There we go. All right. I'll spoon some out into here.
Okay. And this is going to go now, participate now on the plate.
Exactly.
And then you can kind of tell us what each of these foods represent.
All right. So we've got on our Seder plate, we'll just go through it. We've got our horseradish root here, which is usually shredded up. And that's to remind us, again, you can imagine how bitter and hard it was. That's to remind us of the bitterness that the Jewish people had. We've got a shank bone here and an egg, and those remind us of different sacrifices that were brought during the temple, in the temple times. Here we've got a vegetable. Some people use parsley or onion, and that's actually taken and dipped into salt water. And the salt water reminds us of the Jewish people's tears. And here we've got some chazeret. It's bitter herbs, but it's we use lettuce. Ironically, lettuce you don't think tastes bitter, no. But the root, the longer it stays in the ground, the harder it gets and the more bitter it gets. And that is like their lives. They started off so hard, so bitter, but as it grew out, we have this beautiful vegetable, which actually tastes quite good. And then we've got our charoset here, like I was saying, and the charoset, while it might taste sweet, it looks like the mortar that the Jewish people had to make in order to make the bricks. And the entire time what we do is, the reason we have this is to invoke questions from the children. One of the key points of the Seder, the highlight for most parents for sure, is the children ask 4 questions. And those 4 questions are asking, why on this night do we do this? And why is this night different than all other nights? And we answer them, and the parents will come and tell them, this is why we do it. This is what happened to our ancestors in Egypt. And take that and put it into your own life. The whole concept of Egypt comes from the Hebrew word mitzrayim, which means boundaries. And it's not just the boundaries that they had in Egypt, that they were able to do anything besides work for the evil King Pharaoh. It's in our own lives. We all have limitations and boundaries, and we've got to break through those. Go the extra step. Do the extra good deed that we can put into our own life. So Passover, while it's remembering the historical times, it's also, now let's put that into our own lives. Let's break through our own boundaries, and let's become a better person one step at a time, doing one good thing more than we were able to do the day before.
What a great story for the kids to have and to hold on and, like you said, implement in their own lives. And also, too, to teach when they go to school, other children who have different types of traditions, how nice for them to be able to share it.
Exactly.
I love that, and certainly. So now, we use this to eat with
Yeah,
this?
you want to taste some?
I
Sure.
would love to
So we've
taste
got
some.
our handmade, again, here, shmura matzah. Let me grab you a piece of matzah, and you can just put some charoset on it, and let's see how it tastes.
Some of this, okay. Like so?
Yeah,
Just
there
like
you
so?
go.
Okay. While I'm chewing, tell us about the community
So-
event coming up.
So we've got a Passover Seder for those that don't have. That's next week, Monday, and it's at 7:30 at the Chabad Jewish Center. All are welcome to join. Please reserve, of course. You can find more information about the Seder and all things Passover at www.jewishduring.com/Passover. Call us, email us if you have any questions, and we'd love to help you out.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Chana. It was a pleasure to have you. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to be living green in Ajax.